County Chair. Good evening, Madam Speaker and guests, speakers and guests. So tonight I've come up with a general title, There's Been a Murder. I actually wanted to title it, There's Been a Mass Murder by Malevolent Misdiagnosis, but that would jump you straight into tinfoil hat territory, and I want to kind of keep you on board at least until we get to the proof of the thesis. So first, I'm going to outline a little bit about the health of Scot. I'll tell you a little bit about my background and qualifications. I'll tell you a little bit about the health of Scotland. I'll tell you, and then I'll present my thesis and my ideas and what I think is actually going on with the health of Scotland, based on my own experiences with the medical profession, and then I will suggest a potential solution to all the problems that I am going to present. So, first of all, my background. Despite appearances, I am highly qualified. Not that I believe that the truth requires qualification. I believe that the truth is the truth regardless of the qualification of the speaker, but often in modern society you're expected to show or demonstrate qualifications before anybody will consider you credible and may call you a conspiracy theorist. So I've got higher grades in accounts, biology, chemistry, economics, physics, mathematics, English, modern studies, A to C. I've got an undergraduate BSc Honours in Health Sciences from the University of Aberdeen in the Medical School Department of Public Health, so that was looking at all of the social and environmental things that affect health and well-being in society. I've got a postgraduate diploma in community education, which is about how people can shape the institutions in the society in which they are part of. I've worked as a lifeguard, a sports coach, I've worked in public health, I've been a teacher, a community worker, and generally over the last 20 years I've been a documentarian. I've been documenting my life and experiences as I've moved through the system and tried to get help with my health difficulties. So there you go, so that's where I am now. So as part of my undergraduate degree, it was drawn to our attention that Scotland is a highly sick society. We've got major issues with our health and well-being. We've got exceptionally high mortality rates. Up until the middle of the 20th century, the whole of Western Europe and the whole of civilization really was improving markedly in health based on life expectancy and health and illness statistics. And that was partly due to public sanitation and infrastructure, due to better access to food and nutrition, and improved technological work and environmental and educational opportunities. But since the end of the Second World War, alongside the widespread introduction of national health services, improvements in life expectancy and health and well-being across all of Europe have significantly slowed, but the rates of improvement have slowed worst of all in Scotland, now leaving us stagnant across major socioeconomic groups in terms of improvements in health, but with the life expectancy of the lower working class, the working classes up to the skilled working classes have actually significantly decreased. So, taking all socioeconomic groups into account, Scottish males have the second lowest life expectancy and poorest health in all of Western Europe, second only to Portugal, and Scottish females have the lowest life expectancy and poorest health of all. Among the Scottish working classes, life expectancy and health and well-being is worse than for the poor in many developing countries. Those of Scottish descent seem to be plagued by cardiovascular conditions, neurological conditions, gastrointestinal conditions, cancers, violence and suicide, skin conditions, and higher than natural rates of miscarriage, stillbirths, and infant mortality. Scotland's academic and public health professionals claim that the suffering and ill health of the poorest and most disenfranchised in our society is caused by poor living conditions in combination with lifestyle factors such as cigarette smoking, alcohol consumption, poor diet, high sugar intake, physical activity, and lack of access to quality health and medical care. However, contrarily, I believe that the lifestyle is not the cause of our ill health, but our lifestyle is our attempts to self-medicate an underlying genetic condition. And that this condition is endemic, and it renders carriers with exceptional sensitivity to environmental stressors, toxins, and to pharmaceuticals. So I'll come on to that condition in a second. But in terms of the title of the speech, I had suggested it's like there's been a murder. At the end of the Second World War, as well as the introduction of the health services, the British Navy took possession of a huge arsenal of German weapons, chemical weapons, sulfur gases, sulfur dioxide, toxins. They loaded them onto the entire fleet of German U-boats, German ships, and then they scuttled them around the coast of Scotland with not one single ship making it below the border. Right? So these ships have been leaking munitions, leaking chemicals, leaking poisons and toxins into our waters for the last 70 odd years. And today, chemists and environmentalists are now recognising that these pose a significant public health concern, and in my opinion, they are a major cause of the severe and extreme neurological conditions that the Scottish people experience. So I, for myself, have had a lot of issues with doctors and medicine and chemicals and pharmaceuticals, and I've been repeatedly triggered and repeatedly made severely neuroviscerally ill by prescription medicines and by medical treatments. And 3 of these cases was after I told doctors that I suspected I had a genetic condition that made me sensitive to such, and then each time that I had a triggered reaction, the dentists, and in my mum's case, her doctors, refused to acknowledge the adverse reaction, labelled us mentally ill, put us in a mental institution, and then forcibly medicated us with extreme neurotoxins, exacerbating our condition and leaving us with a severe lack of credibility, inability to communicate, and inability to function. So, I spoke about this last time. The condition that I believe that we have, and that I believe is endemic to Scotland and endemic to the whole of Europe, is a condition called Porphyria. If you have Porphyria, it's tied to all of the houses, the royal houses of Europe, the Stuarts, the Tudors, the Prussian royal houses, the Scandinavian royal houses, which we are all related to in some way if you're in the European Isles, because of the nature of the hereditary lineage and the intermarriage in the royal lines. So medicine claims that this condition is rare, but what they actually mean is that they are rare in awarding a diagnosis, because once you're diagnosed, you cannot be prescribed any more medications, right? And if you have got it and you're being prescribed medications, those medications will mask symptoms while slowly poisoning you, and will shorten your life quite significantly. And Porphyria, particularly if it's triggered by environmental stressors and toxins, can be misdiagnosed as 150 different medical conditions. And I believe that doctors are willfully and deliberately generating illness in people that they know to have Porphyria, and that's based on secret communications and coded communications in my medical records. And then when we are ill, they're then putting us into psychiatric facilities as a form of ethnic cleansing. So that's the summary of the work that I've been working on for the last, the findings based on my research and my investigations over the last 20 years. I'm currently trying to build a case and work or get the NHS to acknowledge in any way my health experiences, and so far they have gaslighted me, continued to torture me, assaulted me, abused me, kidnapped me from my home, and actually publicly announced that I was mentally ill. So I've got a fight on my hands, and I shall finish it there. Thank you. Bye.